Welcome back. We're through Christmas, and so all of the presents I'd made, they pretty much all went over really well. I had a lot of happy friends and family members, trivets, coasters, and I made a few other things. If you have any comments or suggestions, drop them down in the basement and I'll get to them. I'm kind of looking forward to the day where there's too many comments for me to read through and answer, so that might come eventually. And if you have fun hanging out with me, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification icon. If you click the bell, then as soon as I release a new video, you'll know that it's out. You'll be able to come and watch it. So that being said, I have a whole laundry list of things that I need to do now. Since Christmas is over, the shop's kind of a mess. We had a big windstorm 2 days before Christmas. It broke off 3 fence posts, so we had to dig those out. We had to sink 3 new posts, put concrete in there, make sure that cured, and then I ended up, as much as I didn't want to, I ended up putting the fence back up on Christmas. So, didn't get to record any of that because we just needed that done. That was kind of an emergency situation. So, I've got treated lumber around here. I need to find a spot for that. I've got to clean up the floor, brush off all the saws and the lathe and everything that's covered in dirt. I need to put away all my tools. There's so many tools out. I try to make sure that every tool has a place in my shop, and things don't always end up in those places. So I got to take time now to kind of clean up behind myself. And there's a few very small projects that I need to do just to get them out of my hair for now. So we may as well start with task number 1. So I'm gonna at least have to get this treated lumber out of my way for now, so I can go through and clean up the floor and put the other stuff away. Hopefully we'll find a more permanent place for those later. But for now, next to the door is just fine. Imagine all this is going to end up out in the vinyl shed. It doesn't need to be in here. Okay. Treated lumber is at least taken care of for now. I'll probably come back to that again when I'm finished with the rest of this. Next, probably the easiest thing to do would be to clean up some of these tools. putting up the new fence posts, I had to take the circular saw outside. So I had to hook up an extension cable and send it out my window. And that reached just fine. But now I have a lot to clean up from that project too. But at least that one's over with. And all the other fence posts look like they're in good shape. The ones we just put up should be lasting quite a while. I have these hooks called cable raptors. These things are pretty nice. I wish they weren't plastic. They feel kind of delicate. But they just clip on there like that. Then I have screws up around my shop here and there, so I can keep them where I want them. That guy will go right there. I got a little one here. So apparently no Raptor cable thing for this one. Just put that up inside there for now. My sander wrapped up. And sawdust all over me. I don't know what I could use these for. I don't know if I want to try. Just old nails from the posts that we had to dig out of the ground. They're not super old by any means. I think they're just going in the trash bin. If I keep everything I have a mind to, I won't have room for anything else. Corded circular saw. I had to find a place for this. This was in my other shed until we needed it for the fence posts. Car jumper. This thing is amazing. It jumps any car I've ever owned. Also has 12-volt cigarette lighter adapters and two 110 outlets, as well as a light, an inverter, and somewhere on here is an inflator and a tire inflator, so you can pump up your air mattress or your car tires. This thing has come in handy multiple times. This is actually the second or third one I've had, not that they don't last a while. I'm going to set this up somewhere eventually so that it can charge, because it's a little low. Sorry, but I'm going to shove you guys back in the corner so I can get all this sawdust real quick. It's actually pretty warm today for being basically the middle of winter, right? It's somewhere around 60 degrees outside, I think. 66. Here's the screen we had to take out so that we could put the extension cord through the window. This is my portable vacuum. I love this thing. Anytime I need to clean off one of my tools or something, grab a hold of this because it's super easy to use. So here's my lathe. Let's pop a battery in it. It gets the most of the sawdust, and whatever it doesn't get, it's just going to fall on the floor. I'm going to vacuum that up anyway. I get the spindle sander first. Alright, that's enough of that vacuum for now. I'm going to go get the shop vac attachment, which I usually put on my dust extractor, and then I can vacuum up this big pile left over here, and then I'll probably do a second sweep around the shop. You're all crooked, hold on. That's closer, okay. So, I've got a 4-inch connector on this side, and that goes into my dust extractor here. And this side just connects to my shop vac hose. There we go. Get my button here. Here's my button. I like to get a big pile here so I can get everything out of my way and it's less slippery. Plus, this is just really satisfying. Okay, next I need to fix the damage on my lighthouse. During that big storm, it knocked over my wooden lighthouse and there's a big ding on it. So I'm going to go and grab that and bring it in. And we'll take a look at how bad that is and see what we need to do to fix it. Alright. This is the lighthouse I made earlier this year. I wasn't doing YouTube videos yet, so I didn't have a chance to do a video on this one. But during that windstorm, it got knocked over and got some bad damage right there. So, I need to take a look at this. Thought maybe I could just sand it a little bit and repaint it. But there's some splintering in there. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go get my wood glue. And we're going to put some on there and let it dry, and then we'll take care of that. Okay, I got my favorite flavor of glue. Got a little palette so I can mix some glue up. And so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to try to basically patch this with some putty. Homemade putty. Gonna get a good dollop of glue on here. And then get my cup of sawdust. That might be too much, we'll see. And we're just gonna mix it all around. Bring out my inner Bob Ross. I'm gonna start by getting some on there. I just wanna work it in really good. There's some splinters in there that I don't wanna pull at. But if I can get some glue up in, around, and through them, especially if it's got that sawdust mixed in there, that'll really help out. Just put a nice big gob all over everything. You just want to level out the two sides and fill this with this putty. Okay, that looks good. We're just going to leave that just like that. And give that time to dry. So these are our rock polishers. We started tumbling rocks this year, and we got it in a few months, and some of us lost interest. I always have them turned off when I'm filming because, honestly, they're awful loud on film here. That's really quiet for me. But I imagine that's probably going to be pretty obnoxious to anybody watching these videos, so I always keep these off. Sometimes I can't help but have a fan, or in the summer, I'm probably going to have the AC running occasionally, but these are something I can help. But I have a new place for these over near my other bench, so I'm going to carry them over there, and we'll get the bench moved out of the way then, and hopefully we'll get them in their new home today so that I can open up this whole area, because this is pretty much all rock polishing equipment, and it just doesn't need this much room right now. So since the rock tumblers really aren't something you need to do all the time, so honestly you set them to tumble and then you might not be back for a week, I'm going to go ahead and set them up on this small wheeled microwave cart, I think is what it originally was. And this is just going to live over here in the corner of my shop until I find that I want to put it somewhere else. If I store anything in here, I got to make sure it's something I don't need very often. It's not going to be very accessible. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn it around maybe. Bring it over to this side where I'll be able to access it better once it's back there. Alright, there we go. So when I get back interested in this hobby, I can just basically pull this out, plug it in, get everything out of here cleaned up, and start again. The rocks that are in here right now are actually really pretty, but they're not finished. And they may be ruined because they've basically been sitting in a sand and dirt mix with water, almost concrete-like. So for now, we're just going to put this back where it was. So that hobby has its own little thing now. And we're just going to move my workbench back into place. By the way, if you have a small workshop like I do, wheels. Everything should be movable. The only thing that's not really movable in my shop is my lathe, because if you put wheels on that and you start it going, it's just going to walk across the floor. But I try to make sure everything in my shop has wheels on it. That way, anytime I have a project, I can just move around all my work surfaces and my tools to best suit my needs. There's very few things in here that can't just be moved around really easily. Next, we can clean and test my planer, which is buried right now, but I'll be able to get that out here in just a second. Okay, very first thing we're going to do here is make sure that it's unplugged. This is a day ruiner. If you get hurt on this, it's not a small hurt. This is not a paper cut. This is not a thorn. This is a trip to the emergency room and not being able to count to 10 on your fingers for the rest of your life. So I've got the plug right here, which I know for a fact this thing's not plugged in because it's on one of my mobile carts. And I just wheeled it across the shop, so unless I forgot that I just plugged it in somewhere along the way, I'm good. I'm going to start by going ahead and vacuuming out all the spaces in here. So let me go get my portable vacuum cleaner. And again, it's worth pointing out that just because these blades up here aren't spinning doesn't mean they're not very sharp. So when you put your hand in here, be careful not to scrape that blade. Be aware of where you are. Now I'm going to clean off these rubber wheels. Where is my roll of blue towels? I had them a few minutes ago. Whew. Oh, there they are. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some simple green on my towel here. I'm just going to see, oh yeah, there's some nasties on there. That's awful. Let's see. So let's get this side done. Again, making sure to avoid this area where the big bad blade is. So I'm just going to work on this roller a little bit at a time to make sure I get off all of that tar and pitch that's built up on there. Simple Green will do it. If you have tar or pitch remover, that'll work far better. This is what I have today. So once I get one or two sides done, I'm going to have to turn the roller around so I can get the other sides. I'm not going to make you watch that, but this is basically how you clean any planer. There's going to be small differences. Your manual will definitely explain how to do this. Okay, I got my rollers all cleaned up. They're not perfect, but they should be pretty good by now. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in, and we've got a test board all marked up here so we can test it out. Let me grab my ear protection. And that's a pretty great result right there. Just a few minutes of cleaning it up and dusting it out. We got one more thing knocked off the list. On to the next one. Alright, let's check in on the lighthouse. That's nice and hard now. I'm going to just hit this real quick with some 120. We're not looking to go too deep here. I'm really just trying to deburr it. There we go. Well, that's perfect. And that's now maintaining that shape. In fact, that will probably be stronger than the original wood that this was made out of. So we're going to go ahead to the next step now. I've got the paint still that I originally used for this. And we're going to go ahead and pop that open, make sure that it's okay. And we're going to paint over that glue. Let's see if I can finally find a use for one of these weird shaped foam brushes. This one is probably not going to work here. We're going to go ahead and try it anyway, though. Just kind of daub it on, maybe. There. Wonder if I can smooth that out just a little bit. Wow. So I'm really happy with that. You can definitely see it. I'm looking on the screen for the camera. You can definitely see it right there. I don't think that's going to be noticeable from very far away. And honestly, I'll probably put a couple more quick coats on there before I close up this paint. I'd be surprised if you can see this when I'm finished. So we'll go ahead and jump to the next coat. We only have this and one other very quick project to do. So let's go ahead and jump to the next one. Alright, this had a few hours to dry. Just sand it a little bit again, and we'll put some more paint on that. I put my little brush in a plastic baggie so I don't have to keep wasting brushes. This will keep it nice and usable until I'm done with this little project. Just grab a little bit of paint out of there. Okay, we'll give it another hour or so to dry. Put another coat or two. Apparently my dogs are outside. Alright, we'll see you when this is dry. I'll come out and do another coat on there. Looking pretty good. Looks pretty good even on the camera. I'm going to probably give one more coat. And that's probably as good as we're going to get it, since underneath that paint it's not really even wood color. So let's see. Let's give it a nice thick coating this time. We'll see how that looks. That actually looks really good in the camera right now, but when that dries, that might be darker again. So we'll see how that looks in about an hour. I'll see you when this is dry. Okay, that's nice and dry now. That looks perfect. I can barely even see that on the camera. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall this into the front yard. But more importantly, I need to get it off of the table saw. Okay, I'm going to take you in a handheld mode here and give you a look at the sharpening system that I have. This is my Rikon low-speed bench grinder. I use this to sharpen all the gouges for my lathe. And below it, this is my Wolverine sharpening system by One Way. And if you notice, it kind of sticks quite a ways off the back. But the problem is, as it is, I can't push it back to the window because I'm constantly afraid that I'm going to break that accidentally. So what I'm going to do is just put a guard back here so that I can't break it with my Wolverine system accidentally. It's just going to stop me from making a pretty big mistake. So let's go find a chunk of cut off pine or something that's in my buckets here or laying on the floor, and I'll get the lighthouse off of the table saw so we can make a quick crosscut. Now just install that on the window, and that'll be it for tonight. This piece of pine will be just perfect. So again, we want 24 5/8. The basic idea is I want to be able to get in here, remove this thing so that I can open the window anytime I need to. So I don't just want to bolt it down permanently. So what I'm going to do is we'll put that in permanently, and this piece will just be able to slide in and out at will. So that's not very easy. I'm going to take a little bit more off of here so it can fit in the back much easier, and I'm going to take maybe another 1/2 inch off the side of this piece so that it doesn't stick out from here. I'll be right back. That should be fine. I'm just using 1 1/4 inch T20 star bits. These things, if you've never used a star bit, you need to try one of these at least once. These are far superior to anything like Phillips or a regular screwdriver. Or rather, a regular screw head is what I meant to say. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. Now this guy can just come out whenever I need to get in and open the window like this. And this will fit here to protect that regardless. So let's just put my stand back like so. And perfect. So that'll stop that from damaging that window. When I'm not using the sharpening system, I can just take this and put it on the side because I've got magnets. And then whenever I need it, just pull it back off and then slam it in here without having to worry about it. There's a few other things I could do in this shop to clean up and make sure everything works properly. The list is kind of never ending, but I don't want to make a lot of videos of me vacuuming the floor and cleaning up and screwing a single board to a windowsill. So this is kind of a one deal thing unless somebody really wants to watch me do this a lot. I don't see a lot of videos out there with the cleanup procedure and showing what the shop looks like after a long period of doing some woodworking and not cleaning up. So I just kind of figured I'd put this one out there and see what people think of it. I've got a myriad of other things here that I could do. I've got 2 bird whirligigs that I made over this year and I still haven't put those up. That's a video I could do. I know the next project that I'm going to be doing, it should be pretty easy. I have a new airplane that I got. This is the new re-release of the ME-163 from Hobby King. That's going to be eventually an unboxing and possibly a setup, maiden flight, test flight, whatever you want to call it. That ought to be fun to watch. Definitely be fun to record and make a video about. And it looks like fixing the lighthouse and a few other things, I have more tools out again. So I'm going to take 5 minutes before I go inside, take a shower, and go to bed. I'm going to clean up the rest of my tools and yeah, I think it's organized chaos now instead of just being mess. So I'm glad you tuned in today. I'm glad you came to watch. If you want to watch again, make sure you subscribe. If you want to be notified when I release a new video, hit the bell. And if you have any comments or suggestions or concerns, throw them in the basement and I'll take a look at them. So far, I've been able to reply to just about everything. I'm really looking forward to the day that I won't be able to read all the comments I get. So you guys have a nice night, and I'll see you in the next one.